Tough loss for the Spurs. Let's listen to Bill Schoening.
The San Antonio Spurs.
Sacramento 121, Spurs 114. This is Spurs React with Chris Duel, Michael Bartlett, and listening into Bill Schoening right now on the postgame show.
San Antonio's breaking news, traffic, and weather.
Upcoming home schedule brought to you by Ticketmaster. The Spurs still have 2 games on this road trip against the Clippers, and the Lakers come back the day after Christmas against the Detroit Pistons. That will be a 6 o'clock tip against the Pistons on December 26th. Upcoming home schedule brought to you by Ticketmaster.com. Tickets available for that game. You go to Ticketmaster.com for more information. Whataburger, what's next? As we mentioned, next 2 on the road tomorrow night. Second night of the back-to-back as the Spurs take on the Clippers. 9:30.
Hey, Joe Garcia.
Southwest. And then Thursday against the Lakers. That's also a 9:30 start. That game on Ken's TV, 107.5 in Spanish with our amigo Paul Castro. And, of course, all games here on the Spurs Radio Network. The final score tonight, 121-114. The Kings with the victory over the Spurs. And, again, the Spurs take on the Clippers tomorrow evening. And a late start tomorrow, 9:30. Will be in the air at 9 o'clock. This is Spurs Radio.
Yeah, tough loss for the Spurs. Sacramento very shorthanded, 7 players out with health and safety protocols for the for the Kings tonight. It's Clippers tomorrow night. So this was a game I certainly expected the Spurs could win and would win, and just a tough one for them to lose. Joe Garcia saying, hope they can bounce back and get tomorrow's game. Tough loss indeed. Yeah, now they got to fly obviously tonight from Sacramento to Los Angeles on the road on a back-to-back against the Clippers and Staples. That's going to be tough. Hello, Joe. Welcome in, our second Joe, and Leland Bruce. Yeah, tough one, Leland. They should have won this one, man. Credit Sacramento. They shot well, and they shot very, very well from three-point country tonight, 56% from 3. Merry Christmas, Joe. Thank you. Back at you and everybody in here. Yeah, so even with the loss, Spurs have won 7 of their last 12. Could have been 8 out of 12 had they won this one here tonight. That would have been so much nicer.
Your values, the values that have driven the success of this.
I have a segment to do here in the post game. Yeah, there you go, David Valles. You pretty much nail it. Great win at Utah. Horrible loss today. Yeah. Christopher, actually, this was 7 steps forward and 5 steps back. 7 of the last 11, 12. From the Spurs Net Center, I'm Chris Duel. Final score tonight from the Golden One Center in Sacramento. The Sacramento Kings beat the San Antonio Spurs 121-114. Programming note on the flagship station, Spurs Radio 1200 WOAI, and streaming live video on 1200 WOAI's Facebook and Twitter pages. Our Spurs React is coming your way. You can join us for Spurs React either over the airwaves or via Facebook Live or Twitter. 5 other games in the NBA tonight. 39.1 seconds remaining in Detroit. Pistons lead the Miami Heat 99-90. 1.8 seconds remaining in Memphis. Portland Trailblazers lead the Memphis Grizzlies 103-100. End of 1 quarter in Chicago. Bulls lead the Lakers 28-22. 2:42 to go in the first quarter at the Target Center in Minneapolis. The Minnesota Timberwolves lead the Dallas Mavericks 19-13. 1:12 to go in the first quarter in Phoenix, and the Suns lead the Charlotte Hornets 31-13. Once again, Spurs React coming up on the flagship station, Spurs Radio 1200 WOAI. After a quick wrap-up from Bill Schoening at the AT&T Center, where he broadcasts remotely tonight as the Spurs fall in Sacramento 121-114. Spurs Radio continues in a moment.
AT&T, everyone, new and existing customers, get our best deals on every smartphone. Why? Because you deserve it. For turning your living room into your office.
Christopher Silva, we need a big man to compliment number 25. Jakob Pertl.
Okay, your other lap.
It's not complicated. Everyone deserves something new.
LJ Jennings, not worried. Just another ping pong ball toward the top 3 pick. Oh, man. Is that what this has come to? Jason Salinas says offense comes and goes, but defense should always have effort. No effort from our starters tonight. David says, but he doesn't want to be here. I'm not sure who you're referring to, David, who doesn't want to be here.
Spurs assistant coach Becky Hammond on inspiration.
I hope it's an inspiration to girls out there, being the first woman to coach an NBA team. But I've always been more inspired by the future, not by what I've done, but by what's coming next.
Oh, all right. Thaddeus Young. I don't know that. I know some Spurs fans have said that. He's seemed pretty positive lately.
Visit swbc.com to take the next step toward your financial future.
The senior director of broadcasting is Mike Kigarillo. Liz Canomas handles commercial traffic along with Leah Resendez. Our broadcast engineer, Sam Walters. Our statistician, Walter Stoops. Next game for the Spurs against the Clippers tomorrow night, 9:30 tip. We'll be on the air at 9 o'clock as the Spurs take on the Clippers in Los Angeles. As always, for all things Spurs, you can follow us on Twitter, Spurs.com, or the Spurs app. Our studio producer this evening was Mike Bartlett, with assistance from Jeremy Kolop. And also our host back at the Spurs Radio Net Center was Chris Duel. Again, the final score tonight, the Spurs fall to the Kings, 121-114. This has been a presentation of Spurs Sports and Entertainment, the National Basketball Association. All rights reserved. Good night, everybody.
Spurs Radio Game Night Rewind has been brought to you by AT&T. The game we live for, the codes we live by. And by iHeartMedia. With Orchard, you never have to worry about losing your dream home to the competition.
David says we have Thad in a bubble wrap. Trade him. I don't think, I know you know this, I don't think Thaddeus Young would get you a whole lot of value on the trade market. All right, here we come over the airwaves with React here in just a sec. See the little iHeart logo behind. And as soon as I go there, it disappears. I was going to show you the iHeart logo, which just disappeared on us. That's so weird.
It's about a financial services company that's on your measures of success. Whether it's for your home or business, we offer personalized service and expert advice to help you achieve your unique goals.
Visit swbc.com for financial services without the labels.
Here we come.
This is Game Night React on the home of the Spurs, Spurs Radio 1200 WOAI.
Well, this one kind of hurt. This was a game that I think a lot of us believed the Spurs could win for a number of reasons. Spurs fall in Sacramento tonight, 121-114. This is Spurs React on Spurs Radio 1200 WOAI. I'm Chris Duel. Michael Bartlett making the show go as he always does, the entire broadcast from beginning to end. And a shout out to Cindy K. Joyner. Hello, Cindy. Welcome back in. Joining us on Spurs React, Tucker Park. I'm saying hello to all the people on the live video feed as we are streaming live video on 1200 WOAI's Facebook page and Twitter pages. For a number of reasons, we felt very, very good because the Spurs beat the Utah Jazz 2 nights ago at Utah with the third best record in the Western Conference. So Spurs fans were feeling good about the Spurs, as we should. And tonight, the Sacramento Kings were very, very shorthanded. They had 7 players out for health and safety protocols. So This was a game really the Spurs should have won. It was the opening night of a back-to-back. The Spurs had a one night of rest after the Utah game. They won the game at Utah on Friday night, and this is the first night of a back-to-back. So tomorrow's game at Los Angeles, at Staples Center against the Clippers will be significantly more difficult than this one. It's interesting, and Bill brought this up with Spurs assistant coach Mitch Johnson, and in a conversation with Spurs assistant coach Becky Hammond, she brought this up to Bill Schoening on the air on the post-game show, that this Spurs team has not handled the success of winning well with regard to going out and winning subsequent games after they win one. So we saw that tonight, and we saw that tonight against a Sacramento Kings team that was certainly beatable, you would think. Credit the Kings. They shot very, very well from the field and from three-point country. The Kings shot 56% from three. They were 14 out of 25, while the Spurs were 12 out of 25, not too far behind them, missed two of them. They both took 25 three-point shots. The Kings get two more than the Spurs did. But interestingly, those two three-point shots out of the 25 shots taken by each team that the Kings got, that was worth 6 points, and the Kings win by 7 points. So again, and we point out this three-point shot disparity quite a bit in these Spurs games, because if you'd have matched the Kings three-point shot for three-point shot, it would have been a 1-point game. If you would have shot one more three-point shot and made it than the Kings, you'd have won this game by 2, theoretically. From the field, it was pretty close overall from the field. Kings were 50.5% from the field. Spurs were 49.5% from the field. So it's interesting. They both took the identical number of three-point shots, 25. Kings made 14, Spurs made 12. They both took, this is rare, it doesn't happen often, they took the identical number of shots overall from the field at 91. Kings hit 46 shots from the field out of 91. Spurs hit 45, one less from the field out of 91. So that's quite interesting. Spurs actually out-rebounded the Kings 44-40. And in the turnover battle, the Kings with 11 turnovers, Spurs with 14 turnovers. All in all, it was a winnable game for the San Antonio Spurs. And I think you could argue, with so many Kings out for health and safety protocols, it was a game the Spurs should have won. Now, that's the bad news. The good news overall, over the last 12 games, the Spurs have won 7 of them. So they are 7-5 over the last 12. And you look at the way the Spurs started the season, although they fought hard for all 4 quarters in most games, they've been in most of these games at the end. Most of them have been single-digit affairs, as it was tonight. They just let this one get away. Kings beat the Spurs 121-114. Looking at Spurs scoring, DeJounte Murray, 25 points for DeJounte. He came to play 35 minutes, 11 of 17 from the field. DeJounte had 7 rebounds and 9 assists. So we'll take 25, 7, and 9 any night from DeJounte Murray. Lonnie Walker had about 14 at halftime or 16 at halftime, only finished with 18. So Lonnie, much more effective. Check that. I'm reading the box score incorrectly. Lonnie had 19, not 18, but he had 16 at the half. So Lonnie Walker, 19 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists. But Lonnie much more effective in the first half. Bryn Forbes played very, very well with 18 points and a +7 in the plus-minus, 7 of 12 from the field and 4 of 8 from three-point country for Bryn Forbes. So your Spurs in double figures, DeJounte Murray with 25, Lonnie Walker with 19, Bryn Forbes with 18, Keldon Johnson with 16, and Devin Vassell with 11. Those were your Spurs in double figures. It was a tough loss tonight for the San Antonio Spurs. I want to give a shout out. I see a couple of international viewers on our live video feed. Falin joins us from Singapore. Rayson joins us from the Philippines. Always good to have all of our viewers on the live video feed. But special and cool to see international viewers joining us as well. So the Spurs will try again tomorrow night, but it's going to be tougher tomorrow night because it'll be at Staples Center in Los Angeles against the Clippers. That is a late broadcast in the Central Time Zone. Tip-off just after 9:30. So our pregame Spurs radio game night will be at 9 o'clock with the voice of the San Antonio Spurs, Bill Schoening. We want to thank Bill for another great broadcast, his 21st year as the English language radio voice of the San Antonio Spurs, with a tip of the cap to Mr. Paul Castro, who does the Spanish language play-by-play. On-site engineer Sam Walters, veteran statistician Walter Stoops, thanks to all of them. And making the entire broadcast go from beginning to end, Michael Bartlett, and an assist to Jeremy Kolak. In fact, Jeremy's going to be joining me tomorrow morning on my show on Ticket 760. It's the Chris Duel show with Shannon Salty Sweeney. Jeremy will be engineering that show. I'm sure we'll talk a lot of Spurs. We'll talk Cowboys, NFL, college bowl games, and more from 6 to 9 tomorrow morning on Ticket 760. We will see you here tomorrow night. Once again, 9 o'clock for the broadcast as the Spurs take on the Los Angeles Clippers at Staples Center. For all the gentlemen I mentioned, I'm Chris Duel. Once again, the Sacramento Kings beat the San Antonio Spurs 121 to 114. You've been listening to Spurs Radio on Spurs Radio 1200 WOAI. All right, y'all, adios. See you tomorrow morning, 6 o'clock. Have a good night. Go Spurs, go.